So the video that you're about to watch is something that I recorded on and off last week. I've just edited all the footage, and because of the way that this commission was made, it's a little bit disjointed. The video is a little bit disjointed, so I thought I would come into the beginning, do a little bit of an intro and a little bit of an explanation, because I was thinking about this earlier actually, that when you watch things on YouTube in particular, or time lapses in general, they can be a little bit misleading about what actually goes into the creation of whatever it is that you're watching being made. I've thought this a few times about my drawings in particular. When I watch them back, you don't get a true representation of what actually goes into it, because you're just looking at it sort of from a bird's eye view, being sped up so fast and so much of it being cut out, which I've done with this one as well. I've cut a lot of it out because a lot of it's very boring, and you don't need to sit and watch me drawing something for 45 hours. You know, 3 minutes is more than enough. But what a time lapse doesn't show you is the amount of, basically what I cut out from a time lapse is that every time my hand leaves the page. So you don't see any hesitations, you don't see me sharpening the pencil, you don't see me thinking, which is a main thing. The main point I want to put across is the thought is cut out completely from the time lapse of a drawing, and that is the most important part. You don't see me ever thinking, and you don't see me ever looking at my reference photo, which is the most important part, is actually looking at what you're drawing. So I just wanted to come in and stress that first. For any of you that are hoping to start a career as an artist, or to maybe start taking commissions similar to the ones that I've been doing, that you shouldn't watch a time lapse and think that that is how drawings are made, because they're not. So what you're going to see, the first part, you'll just see me preparing the paper, cutting it down. So what I tend to do is I'll make the paper a little bit bigger than I actually need it to be, because I have to stick it down on my table in order to record in a somewhat similar position every single time. No matter how I stick that image down to the table, the edges will get damaged somehow, even if that's just them picking up a little bit of dust from the pencil, or tearing a little bit, or getting a mark on it from whatever I've used to stick it down. So it's important that when you stick your page down that you leave a little bit of extra room, and then when you're done you can cut it off if needs be. It's always better to have too much than too little. Another thing that you don't see is how long I spend on making sure that my initial sketch is perfectly proportionate. Because this is so thin, I have to do it so thin because I don't want any of the graphite coming through and muddying up the coloured pencil. And that, when I first started doing that, when I first started doing commissions like this, it'd take me a full day to get the proportions right. Even sometimes then I didn't get it done in one day. So that is something else that you need to take into account. Get your proportions perfect first before you go in with anything that's permanent, which coloured pencils are. They're pretty much permanent. So once you've done that, then you can start. The way that I go about these portraits is the first layer that I put down will be just to mark out where everything is a little bit bolder, so that I can see it and it doesn't get rubbed away like the graphite will. The first initial sketch that you do, it's so thin that once you start going over it with coloured pencil, it's totally lost. So I have to mark out where everything is first with the coloured pencil, and then mark where my darks are and my lights. From then on, it's just you smashing the portrait out. So this one in particular, I think it took me 4 days to get to the point where I thought I was finished, which I'll show you up until that point now, and then I'll come back and explain more after you've watched that. days looking at this, and to my eye, it's done. I know that when I come back to this in the morning or after a couple of days, my eyes will have had time to rest and to adjust, and I'll be able to see the picture as a whole. A lot of the time when you're working closely from a reference, it's easy to copy the mistakes that the photo makes, if that makes any sense. Like for instance, this photo in particular was taken, it looks to me like it was taken at night, indoors, with the light on, but the light was behind the subject, so the subject sort of backlit. And I realised when I came back to it that it had, on the left eye of the subject, there was like a strange glare on it. And what I'd initially done is I'd just copied it perfectly from the photograph, including that glare. But when I came back a few days later, I realised that that looked very strange. So I fixed that first, and then I realised that it needed a little bit more contrast. So I upped the contrast. A lot of the time when you watch a time lapse, because it doesn't show you any of these hesitations or any breaks, it sort of puts it out there that it sort of makes it look like you sit down one day and then 3 minutes later your drawing's done, and that's not how it is. So if you are looking into doing something like this, just know it's very important to take breaks, and the hesitations are there and they need to be there, and you have to be looking at your reference, which is not something that the camera picks up. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this, and if you are the receiver of this portrait, then happy anniversary. I hope you have a lovely day, and thank you so much for watching. This is actually going to be the last commission that I take for a while. I closed my commissions the other day. I'm working on a few different projects that I've been planning and kind of getting them ready, preparing them since January, but I've been so busy with commissions recently that I just haven't had time. So I took the opportunity to end commissions the other day so that I can get all these projects, get one of these projects done, one or two of these projects done before I take another break. And then I'll be able to come back in September and get on with something else. So this will actually be the last dog commission that you see for a long time. I hope you like what's coming next. I'm really excited about it. Yeah, I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you tomorrow. This is actually day 30 in the task that I set myself to upload a new video every day to YouTube. It's my birthday month. My birthday was on the 15th of May, and this will be going up on the 30th of May. There is still 1 day of May left, which means there's another video tomorrow at 5 PM. If you'd like to come back for that, then I'll look forward to seeing you then. Thank you for watching. Bye!